Hi, Robin. How are you, darling? How are you? Hello. I want to try and not move the camera. We'll wait for a few more people to get in, won't we? Did you pour yourself a cuppa? If you hear that in the background, I'm in I call it the little bunny room, the rabbit room. It's my little rabbit. He's scratching around, he's popping around in the cottage. Did you make yourself a cup of tea and bring a little confection? I had my little confection before, so I didn't want to eat on camera. But I also have my little notes because I'm old school, So old school meaning that I write everything down, and I use my phone. I just do everything simplistically because it's easier that way to me, Hello, darlings. How are you? Lillian and Tasha. Oh, I love Tasha. Tasha, that name is beautiful. Hello, darlings. Okay, I've already manifested that we're going to have it beautiful and lovely. Hello, Lillian. That is a beautiful name. I love that name. It's so bonkers to me that so many people from across the world. Do you know what I mean? It's so wonderful. Hello. Is it Andrea? Okay, so hello. Oh, now how do you say that? Agastya? Hello, everyone. Okay, so I won't keep you long. I know it's Friday and everyone's excited for the weekend. But so one of the questions that I received was someone saying they wanted to get out of debt and that they needed help on that, like how to do that. But the one thing that I wanted to chat about today was that I wanted to talk about, so I'm going to get my notes, okay? So is that if you've been following Neville Goddard, right, and you've been doing it for quite a time, as I have, which I'm assuming that most of you have, there's this state that Neville speaks about in his books and everything, and it's called living in the end, right? Does everyone know pretty much about Neville? Let me look and see. Does everyone know? Like, do a thumbs up, or we could do like a mermaid or a flower or something like that. If you know about Neville Goddard. Do you know about Neville Goddard? Give me a thumbs up if you do. And so, yes, okay, thank you, Robin, thank you. Okay, so hi, Razzie, it's been so long. I know, yes. Hi, Kara, how are you, darlings? Yeah, so what happens is, and I don't know if you've done this before, but I thought I would mention it because I used to struggle greatly with this. Now, in one of the areas that I would struggle would be if you're living in the end and it's associated with money, okay? So we're going to pretend that you're living in the end and you've created your scene and you're like, okay, so I'm pretending that I'm wealthy, right? Okay, let's just go with that particular one. Well, so many people I have noticed, and when I would coach people and, um, talk about manifestation and living in the end, and people were focused on, oh, I want to make $1,000 a day, or say they were doing affirmations that were pertaining to that, right? They would sometimes get in a skettle of fish, let me tell you, because if they were pretending and living in the end, they would go out and just purchase stuff as if it was like okay to get into debt. And so I would say, that's not, you're supposed to go towards the feeling of it, not actually doing that, okay? So spending does not necessarily mean you have to physically do that externally, right? So it's basically the state. And so what was very difficult for me to teach until I realized this the other day. I was going back over the books. I mean, because I've read his books so many times, right? But sometimes you don't figure out things until a particular time. It's sort of like you're reading the same thing and you're like, oh, I finally got that. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, so I would say, okay, so you're living in the end, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to go out and like create debt or, create this mass debt, because it's going to make you feel even worse, right? And I didn't know how to explain it properly to where you could understand the feeling. And so I remembered that Neville talked about his wife was saying something one time about spending and investing. And this came to me the other day, like a week ago or something. And I thought, oh my God, this is exactly what that meant in regards to this. So let me explain it. So say, for example, you're living in the end. You create the scene of, let me give an example so that I can clarify this easier. Because I think when you can, I'm going to see if you're asking me any questions. Yes, the feeling of abundance. Okay, so what I thought to do is to explain it in this way. When I was manifesting a house, now I had always, for years and years, when my ex-mate, okay, I always call him the old sod. When I was married to him for 24 years. Now, in the beginning of our marriage, I'm being authentic with you. Beginning of our marriage, obviously I was still in religion, highly in religion. I had no clue about manifesting or law of attraction, law of assumption, or anything of that nature. But I made it a promise to myself that we had purchased a home, cute little teeny 1920s home in Alabama. And we lost it to foreclosure because we sort of lived out of our means. Now, when that happened, I promised, because it ruined our credit for like 10 years, right? I promised myself that I was never going to have a mortgage ever again, okay? Because it was so traumatic for me that I just never wanted to have that feeling again, Now, fast forward, I didn't know at that time anything about manifestation, but that had always been my desires, right? So we always carry these desires regardless of whether we knew of law of attraction back then, because we're always manifesting regardless of whether we understand that we have the control and power of that, doing that, right? We're always manifesting. So I have always kept that sort of little prayer within my heart. Now, and if you were to ask any time, if you were to ask me, I would always say, oh, I'm going to have the amount of money or whatever to not have to buy a house. Like I'm going to be given a free house. Now, when I say that, that sounds absolutely bonkers if you don't know anything about manifestation or if you don't understand anything about the law of assumption, right? Sounds kind of like absolutely ridiculous. But And at that time, I didn't understand anything about law of attraction. I keep reiterating that. So, but I always knew that was a desire that I wanted because I never wanted to feel that way. However, you continually go on, and this is 20 something years still, and I never got a mortgage again. We rented. It always ended up being that we rented. And so then when I married and manifested Jeffrey Sean, it was already his house. So I moved in. He was the only one on the mortgage. But I didn't look at it the same way as, it wasn't my house because I wanted my own house. And this was important for me. Am I boring y'all to tears? Thank you for taking care of the people that have ill intent. Thank you so much. If you see that, could just please just remove them or, just delete them from the section. So are you keeping up with me, my darlings? Yes, please help me manifest my dream face and body. I'm not wavering at all. Not thinking anything negative in affirmations. 30 minutes. Okay, so is it Agastya? Agastya? I don't know, but tell me how you say your name, and we'll get to that in just a moment, darling. Okay, so are y'all on still the page with me? Hello, Lena. Hello, darling. Yes, Patty, it's both American and British RP. Pardon me. So forward now that I'm going to explain how you live in the end, but you're going to invest in your mind and your thought processes, which is your state of consciousness, right? It's not spending. You don't need to spend literally money. You need to invest in your mindset. And so what I mean by that is, so finally I decided, living at my parents' house and everything, I wanted my own house. Now, I'm 53 at this moment, and I wanted my own home. And I think that's normal and natural for many, many people, especially, after I had healed and worked through my son's murder and all of that. And so I was really ready to have my own home. So last year, about 2 weeks before Christmas, I decided that I was going to really, really hone in and go to the end and focus on, I want my own home. Now, I did not have any kind of, wouldn't be jurisdiction, but I did not have any kind of labels placed on how that home would come to me, okay? In regards to, this is where people flub up. And I know, and the reason I'm saying that is not to be, judgmental or anything. It's because I've done it for years and years. And so I want to help you not to do this. So when I would think that, I would immediately begin having this desire to want to figure it out, right? And I always talk about rummaging around like a little rat in our manifestations, basically like digging up the seed to see if it sprouted. And every time we do that, we cause a miscarriage to the dream and the desire, right? Every time you do that, it's okay if you do it, but understand then it has to start all again. Okay, so this is what happens when people are not in the mindset and you're not staying in the end. And it only requires you to do it not very long if you can stay in that state of, what would be the word for it? It's basically following your excitement. You know how like you get really excited about, say, for example, you find a really cool thing at the thrift store or something. You're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Okay, if you can hold that for 17 seconds, that is equivalent to 20,000 man hours, like literal man hours. So if you think about it, it's not that long to manifest. But the problem is that immediately we all, myself included, all go to begin trying to solve the issue. And how am I going to manifest this? Which is not our employment to do so. This is where we screw up. okay, and trying to manifest it because we think, oh, we've got to do all the work. We have to put in lots of effort, loads of time, which doesn't exist. But we as humans don't understand time. We don't understand it. So we initially just immediately go towards like, so let me give you an example. What I didn't do, there was a relative that wanted a house as well. Okay, but they've been wanting a house for decades. And the reason that they still don't have their house is because they have so many things in the way. They're like, no, okay, so this is going to take me 10 years. Okay, so that's the first problem. They've already established that it will take them 10 years. So that's the number one thing. So your mind will make you do that. If you say, oh, I'm going to manifest this really, really quickly, and you know, oh, I can manifest this particular thing very, very quickly, and you have no resistance to it, you will manifest it quickly. But if you automatically think because of what the world says, say, for example, oh, you have to get a good what is it, a FICA score. You have to have a really good credit score. You have to be able to have 10% down for your home. You have to, like, basically you're following all the rules, right? Oh, it has to be within this bracket of how much it costs. This is the kind of place that I want and that I can't afford, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so all of these things we've already done, which it's natural to do that. I understand that. But what I'm trying to help you understand is how we get through that and realize, oh, first of all, what I need to do when I'm manifesting something is to remember that if it begins to, you see these different things coming in, this is what is going to clarify to you what belief system that you are holding. And so once we understand what we're doing, we can solve it and we can not do that anymore. And once again, this is why I always say, listen to my subliminals. I know that there's many people that have got them, pardon me, and I don't know that you're necessarily working through them, but if you don't and you don't keep on it, you will continue to flub up and it'll be difficult for you to manifest. I'm not saying that you won't be able to manifest, you will, you will, but I really want you for it to be effortless, that you walk through life and you're just like, oh. And when you're manifesting something, the interim between that, because have you ever noticed that if you're working on, it's like we go after it like it's an employment. Like, okay, this is my job. I'm signing up. Okay, I'm manifesting this. And that's not the way it's supposed to be fun and enjoyable and relaxing. And I could never understand people that could manifest like, this was way back before I could manifest money. And I would just think, you act as if it's so easy, like, oh, I'm just going to manifest $1,000 a day, and I would get irritated. So that was my number one signal is like, because it was more difficult for me to manifest money than it was for someone else to manifest something else, right? Or them to manifest money. And I could easily manifest a house, but they couldn't manifest a house. They still are like, oh, well, I'm going to have to get a loan from the bank and da. But that's never been my belief. Just like manifesting my twin flame. I manifested him and I was in a marriage. I had children. We had rent. We had just moved from California to Oklahoma. My ex-ill-suited mate was not even aware that I was like thinking for months, I'm divorcing this sod. And, so all of those things were in the way. And if someone were to look at that, they would be like, no, well, you got to get divorced first. Then you got to do this. Then you got to get on the dating scene. But I just skipped all of that. I'm like, okay, so if my realtor, this is how I look at it, and my bank and my credit score keeper and my is source, is the all-encompassing great creator, right? It's my higher self, and I'm a God. Why do I need a bank, government, a good credit score, a 10% down? Why do I need all that? Why don't I just go and just live in my house with no mortgage? And so And I'm making that sound really simple because for me, manifesting a house was very simple. Me manifesting my twin flame was so simple. You know, I did that in less than 2 months and didn't even realize it. But anyway, the point that I'm making is we put all of these jurisdictions in the way. And this is what we need to start breaking down to look at, right? Young Sheldon. We need to look at breaking down. Okay, what belief do I have? So I must believe that I have to earn. You know, say for example, if you're like, oh, well, I have to have that amount of money, or oh, I've got to wait, you know, it's on a 10-year trajectory that, you know, in 10 years I'll be able to afford. So there you have the understanding, if this was the case for you, that you're thinking that you have a belief system, because this is where you're going to find the cues. Oh, I have a belief system that I have to earn what I get. So someone to just give you a house is going to be a load of resistance. So what we have to do is take the barrier down and change that belief. That, and this is why I'm so quick to believe that, you know, this is a root chakra issue. This is a solar plex issue. And it's a crown issue, right? Because those all have to do with feeling that you deserve, that it's a self-worth issue. Because that was the problem with me, is that I felt with money that I had to, like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this many paintings or this many readings or this many, I'm going to have to pump out content on YouTube. And I'm like, I don't want to do all that. Like, for one thing, I don't want to do it. Like, I want the money just to come. I just don't want to work. Like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to have fun. I want to play decorating all day and do fun projects. That to me doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. So why can't I just change that belief and say, oh, I'm just going to play and have fun. I'm going to play house all day and have fun. Like, I'm going to sew and do all these fun things that I love. And if I'm following my excitement, then the money will just come somehow. I won't have to even worry about. That's not my job, once again, to figure out how I'm going to get it, right? So let me go back to the house. Is this all making sense, darlings? Can we, hello, Carly, how are you? Kira, are you still here, Kira? Kira, would you mind going through the comments and removing people that are saying rude things, please? I don't want terrible things, okay? But anyway, so what I did for manifesting the house, what I did for manifesting my little house was that I began thinking, oh, I love my little house. And I thought about all the wonderful ways of how I'm going to decorate. I thought about all the beautiful little antiques that I had been purchasing, and I thought about all the happy things. Now, when something negative came up, like say, for example, I was really irritated one day, and I was really having like 3 days of being really irritated because I had no space, I had no privacy, and I was really irritated. I was like, I want to move. I don't want to live here anymore. I had to stop thinking, about my actual situation. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the beach. So I drove out to the beach and I just sat at the water and took my journal and just wrote and just, frolicked in the waves, and it made me feel better because I had to take myself out of that mindset. And you don't necessarily have to go anywhere. I mean, you can do whatever. Maybe it's watching Downton Abbey if you like that, or thank you. Did you do that? Thank you for me. And all these different things. And the reason is because if you're not thinking positively upon your desire, what's going to happen is it creates a momentum and it builds more resistance. So what you have to do is remove the attention from it, right? Because we know that attention, when you put your attention to something, it creates momentum and it makes it grow. So when people look around and they're like, how come, like for example, the Meghan Markle, like, why is it so bad? Why has it gotten so bad? Like so many people just dislike her and whatever. It's because they keep creating momentum because they're putting their attention to it. Whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter because the universe only works in I'm giving you everything that you desire. Each person gets what they put out. So the more that you put it out, the more attention, the more it expands it and makes it grow. So whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter. So this is what we have to remember, especially about when we're trying to manifest, because if we're not careful, we think, we keep rubbing up against it because we're like, I don't understand this. Why can't I manifest this particular thing? And it's because usually we have a belief that's buried in there that we haven't recognized. So that's what I wanted you to do, is to try and fine tune when you're thinking about, say, for example, someone said, hey, let me see. I want to get out of debt. This was one of the questions, okay? So, let me read this right quickly. Yeah. So, okay, so this was my notes. Okay, so if you want to get out of debt, the first thing that you have to do is break down, why do you want out of debt? Now, I know this sounds simplistic or kind of silly. Like, why do I care? Of course I want out of debt, Raquel. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand, okay, what caused me to get into debt? Because usually the reason for that is you're externally trying to do something that is trying to fix an internal problem, okay? Because everything above and below, right? Or everything external is a reflection of an internal. So if we are, say, for example, we're collecting debt, however that is, it might be you just go to Target and you spent, $2,000 on Halloween stuff, whatever it is, okay? And you've got the credit card and it's going to come in and you're enjoying all of this, right? Because the hit is immediate and that's a shopping hit. So it's filling this void within you. But what made you purchase the things to fill that void? So where is that? Okay, it's going to be because there's something lacking within us. So we have to discover what the belief is. I know this sounds like, oh my God, do we have to do all of that? No, you don't. But I'm explaining to you why it would be helpful to do this, because then it's going to keep you from repeating the pattern. Okay, so usually we're getting into debt. I'll say, for example, I got into debt because I was trying to keep up with other people, which was a reflection of me not feeling good about myself because I wanted to feel like I had more money and that I was richer and more popular and looked upon like, look at them. Look at all the money that they have. Look at that cute house they live in. Look at that pretty furniture. And that's what caused me and my ex to get into debt, is because I had a self-worth issue. So I thought if I look like I have a lot of money, then that's going to make me feel better. Now, we know that doesn't always work, but we do it because we're trying to figure out how to make ourselves feel better. So once again, we're externally doing something on the outside to try to make the internal feel better, but we need to work on the internal and then that exudes outward, okay? We've been doing it backwards for generations and centuries, okay? So Once you figure out, okay, why did I get in debt? Okay, it's usually a self-worth issue. It's usually trying to feel important or feel significant, or you want people to validate you. You want people to think highly of you. It's a self-worth issue at the end of the day, okay? Sounds weird, doesn't it? Yeah, I know it does. Okay, so then once you've created and you understand what the belief is, then we have to go in, and that's why I recommend my subliminals, which is going to heal those beliefs internally in your subconscious mind whilst you're sleeping, okay? So that's going to end up helping you to eliminate it, because if you have no belief of that anymore, you won't continually accrue debt. But now, what do, Raquel? Well, I've got the debt now. What am I going to do? Okay, so the other thing that you have to realize is, what belief do you have that makes you believe that you will have debt, or that you couldn't have the debt paid down quickly or removed just absolutely quickly? Okay, so then you have to understand, okay, I don't need to figure out how to get out of this debt. If it requires money, the money will come. If it doesn't, and you just want to manifest that, you know what, that credit card, I'm going to rip it up, and I just want it to basically disappear, you can manifest that. You can manifest someone will come in and give me a large sum of money. You could suggest all of these beautiful things because you're the God of your reality. So you could say literally, okay, Spirit, if I have an issue and I have a belief that is keeping me from my debt being paid off and rendered completely, I want to psychologically know and receive that download of what that is. Pardon me. And you will. So not only that, but you can also desire whatever you want. You put it in the universe, and then once you believe it and you live in the end of, what would that look like? Well, for me, if I was looking for an imagination and a vision, okay, creating a scene, I would create the scene that I would go to my monthly roster or register, and I would only see 3 things that had to be paid, which would be my phone bill, my electric, and my car insurance. And those are the only things that I would see. And I'd be like, oh, okay, see, I have no outstanding debt. And if you keep visualizing that, and just keep visualizing that. Now, the problem that everyone does is they start thinking, because what happens when that bill comes in and you're like, oh my God, the minimum due is $250 for this month. Okay, so then you immediately see the 3D, right? This is the difficulty, because it's like, yeah, that's lovely and wonderful, but I'm still not in my house. Do you know what I'm saying? I manifested the house over a year ago, but I'm still not living in the house. So then I have to go back and rewind and go, oh, okay, but now I really want to live in my house. But I don't want sweet dear old Bob, anything to happen to dear old Bob. But that doesn't mean that something has to happen to him. It could mean he decides to move into a little condo. Could be he decides to move into a nursing home. It could be a number, 1,000,001 things. But notice how my mind immediately went to, oh my God, but what about Bob? So that's what we do, is we create these beliefs and we put those in the way, and it always hinders us from it. But when I manifested my house for free, because I used to say that, oh, someone's going to die and leave me millions of dollars. Just some random people do it all the time. They leave people houses that they didn't know, or they met them in the grocery store. I know I've given money from like a lottery win to a guy that pushed carts at Walmart. I've never spoken a word to him, but I had always seen him, thought he was a lovely person, always excited about his job. And I was like, just give him money randomly. And so if I do it, I know that it can happen for me as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, The problem is that we think that we have to earn things, that it has to be hard because we've been taught that. So that's why I'm such an advocate for always, listening to these new beliefs, because if I wouldn't have done that, like 4 years ago, and redid my nervous system and rewired my subconscious mind, I would still be on this trajectory of this path of always feeling like inadequate and that everybody else is better than me, and celebrities and all these people are more important than me. And that's not true. Like, you wipe all of those out when you listen to these subconscious beliefs, because it creates like the perfect model for, you have great self-love, you have confidence, you don't feel like, oh, you have self-trust, you have trust in other people, you believe everybody wants the best for you. I mean, what could be wrong with that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the biggest thing is, so many people are so used to feeling as though I can't change. This is how I am. Well, listen, I was that way for 50 years, okay? I'm 53 now. And so the reason that I'm such an advocate for my subconscious, rewiring the subconscious mind, is because so many people aren't doing it. Yeah, they'll listen to subliminals, but they're doing it from a standpoint of desiring this particular thing. They want to possess a thing, like, I want $1,000, or I want a car, or I want this mate, or, I got to feel like I'm just number one and I'm that girl. And the problem is that people don't listen to them consistently for a long amount of time to rewire the subconscious, because it takes time to rewire it. So then, therefore, they get bored with it. The other thing is that they're wanting things. Let me have the tangible things. When I want you to realize that it might take a little longer. This is not the answer, the end all to be all overnight, because I'm not going to tell you something that's not true. But it's not as hard as everyone makes it out to be. You just need to be consistent. And if you love yourself and you want to be different and you want to change and you want to have the things that you desire, you're going to do it. You're going to do the work. And it's not really work if you're sleeping and you're just listening to something and you're listening to beach waves. I mean, how hard could that be? I'm trying to make it simple, the simplest for you, and this is the best way possible. And you're going to realize, oh my God, I don't distrust that person anymore. Or, oh my gosh, that person, I don't have these bad jealous problems or issues with that particular person anymore. Like, what's going on? Okay, this is what's happening. Your brain is rewiring itself to believe and love yourself, because everyone's a reflection of you, right? Okay, so I'm going to take that off. I'm removing a bunch of people. Why would I want to manifest a husband to pay all my bills? Well, I mean, you could if you want. You can manifest anything you want. Oh, how do I add you as a moderator? I don't know how to do it. Well, I've been on here for 40 minutes, so I guess I'm just going to close it out. Do you have any other questions? Stratford upon Avon and Sussex, Patty. But I've been in Florida for a very long time. My lamp is my lamp's flashing. It's one of those antique little Edison bulbs. You see my antique? I not cross-stitched, but embroidered that pretty Victorian mermaid on the shade. Isn't it lovely? Didn't you like it? Kira, how do I add you to it? I don't know how to do it. Thank you, Carly. Be nice, everyone. Yes. Why do you have to come on here and be naughty? Huh? Hello, Jacob. How are you? The hardest part is to ignore the 3D while you are manifesting. Yes. So if you are manifesting for a let's see. I'm gonna take that out. Is it for soul? Hello, Bunny. Hello, Italy. How are you? Is it Maddie PX? That's cute. How old am I? I'm 53. 53. I always say I'm 253 because I'm in mermaid years, okay? The hardest part is to ignore the 3D. Okay, so that is difficult. Okay, but here's what you do. The easiest thing to do is to remember that, because what you're doing is when you're living in the state, it's just teaching yourself, it's teaching yourself not to see what is actually happening, because that's where people falter. Say, for example, when I was manifesting, do you remember that live that one day? My hair is all a flop. But do you remember that one time I was saying that my next door neighbors, they run a meth house. There was drugs, prostitution. There was dogs. They were chasing my cats, killing my cats. Just you can imagine, like, pretend the worst neighborhood ever. Guns going on. I mean, really bad. Okay. And do you know how difficult that was for me to actually, when I would be out watering the garden, and you can see all of this. You can literally see, the cops are being called, the dogs are barking and chasing the cats, just all kinds of stuff, right? So that would be very difficult for me. Now, so some of the ways that I logically did this is oftentimes, so that's something that, you say, oh my God, this is why a normal person would be like, I'm freaking moving. I'm not living here. But what will happen is, if you've ever noticed, if you have something that's an issue, say, for example, you've got a trust issue and your relationship ends up going to squat, okay? And you break up and you're not with that person anymore. So then you're like, okay. So then you decide, 3 months down the road, let's just pretend 3 months, 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road, you say, you know what, I'm going to go back out into the dating scene again, and I'm going to manifest me another person. Okay, what do you think is going to happen when you get into that relationship, because you did not heal the trust issue that you had in the prior relationship? Now, I know this happens because I did this in my marriage for 25 years, okay? So I was married for 24, it was almost 25 years. And, 2 weeks prior, so let's just say 25. So what do you think happened when I married Jeffrey Sean? Although it was a different face, a different place, a different person, I still had trust issues because I had trust issues here. So therefore, I had trust issues with my ex-husband. Well, I ended up, after the honeymoon phase, it's usually about 3 months down the road, you start picking up, the momentum picks up again, because you start to see these things, because you are creating them in your life again, because it is a belief system. I can't trust my husband because he will cheat on me and have an affair. Right? Because I left that thinking I left it and divorced him, but you didn't really. You didn't heal. So until you learn to heal within and you trust self, you can never trust anybody else. You'll have a problem with your mommy. You'll have a problem with your daughter. You'll have a problem with your children. You'll have a problem with your sister-in-law. You'll have a problem with your auntie. You'll have you get what I'm saying? You'll have a problem with the president of the United States or the leader of this country or this YouTuber. You will always have a trust issue. It will always reflect because it's what you believe. So you have to create that. You're everyone and everything pushed out, like Neville talks about. So what I had to go in and do is say, when I started having problems with Jeffrey Sean, not that he had any reason to show me, he didn't show me anything that I would be distrusting of. But if you have that momentum and you seek it out and you think about it over and over and over and over, you're creating it, right? Because we're gods. So I would keep doing it and thinking these things and then getting in there and milling around and thinking, he's doing this, he's doing this. Well, then it's going to look as though, because I create my reality, I'm creating these scenarios. So I realized, oh, shit, I'm doing this again. So this is why, people say, oh, it's another place, another face, but it's still you. You're the one showing up there. You're going to have the same problems again and again until you heal them. The only way to truly heal is to create new belief system. That's the only way to really do it. So you can say, oh, I'm manifesting this twin flame. Okay, go ahead and manifest them and not watch what happens when you manifest them. You're going to create the same thing if you have not healed from the issues that you struggle with. And listen, I'm not trying to bash on you, darlings. I have it too. It's from us growing up in a terrible, wretched childhood, mostly, that we've had so much abuse, so much just absolute abnormal childhoods. This is the problem. Then you topple on religion on top of that, which creates another codependency, which is very, very bad for our mental state, especially if you're a woman. And so it's understandable that we're all very much like this. It's all right, darlings. But this is why I created it, because I spent 11 years trying to figure this out so that I can help people to do it and not have to spend a lifetime in turmoil. And how do you think that I was able to heal very, very quickly in regards to my son being brutally murdered? And so how do you think that I was able to do that? It's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh, I have no experience behind me to explain why I'm still a happy person. I've had massive trauma in my life, many, many things. And so this is why, because I want to help people so much so that you don't have to feel pain like I have. And if you have, that I understand what that feels like, So let me go back and then I'll close out and I'll leave y'all, love you and leave you. But so some of the things that I did when I was experiencing the neighbors and I couldn't move because Jeffrey had just lost his job. He was going through a hip replacement, so he couldn't work. We were living on the bare minimum of savings that we had been able to save from him selling his childhood home. But, it was very, very, persnickety then. I mean, it was very, very difficult. Let's just put it that way. So we couldn't afford really to go out and get a rental and, first deposits and all of that sort of thing. And I just really didn't want to mentally do it anyway because it was so much, I had been dealing with, my son's murder and everything, and then the ex-husband and all kinds of stuff. So some of the things that I would do is I would keep my subliminals on, or I would play beautiful music in the background and just keep them in at all times so I didn't have to hear it. And then, for example, I could see their property. So I put up a little makeshift fence from the hurricane. I just went out and made my own little fence so that I didn't have to see their house, because that was difficult, because every time I was making my garden beautiful, I had to look over and see Methville, you know, terrible, downtrodden people living in crapping in buckets and rubbish bins. And do you understand? Like, it was really hard. And so that's some of the things that I did. And I would just keep saying in my mind, every time I would get upset or whatever, I would just say, what was my vision that I thought of for that property? Daffodils and sheep. There's daffodils and sheep over there. So I would sometimes even put YouTube sheep baying in the background. And I would just live in La La Land. And if it was bothering me so much, I would come in and meditate and, get my balance my nervous system out, because this is the biggest thing. You always have to keep your nervous system balanced so that so you're not, doing something that's erratic, because that's how we work, okay? If you have an unequal nervous system, you have to equal your nervous system out. You have to balance it out. And so I would do breathing techniques. Sometimes I'd have to meditate 5 times a day, especially even when my son was murdered. And then I'm hearing gunshots go off at the neighbors. That was very difficult for me, because it would traumatize me. So yeah, it's not like I'm sitting there, thinking that I have not struggled, because it's very hard when it's so in your face every single day. You know what I mean? I get it. So you have to constantly, daffodils and sheep, daffodils and sheep. And then I would go and watch something lovely, something that would take me. If I needed to go on Pinterest and dream about how my garden's going to look like this, and You have to continually stay in the thought of going to the end. And that is difficult. I'm not going to say that it's all peachy cream, It's not. It's hard sometimes. But you can do it. You can do it. You can do hard things. You are a God. So do not believe that you do not have the power to do it. You can. It might be a little bit difficult, but you can do it. I trust you and I believe in you. And so you have just have a little, it just says a mustard seed, right? That's the smallest seed on the planet. So if you just have enough faith as a mustard seed, you can do it, my darlings, you can do it. So just remember that, okay? I know that it's a struggle sometimes. And if you wanted other little ideas, just be creative, because you have an imagination. Use your imagination. How can I do this? Or if say for example, when I was wanting to leave my marriage, and I knew that I was doing all of this, but I didn't want to say anything. I just had to do the bare minimum that would keep me in the state of going to the end. Just believing that, okay, I'm living my happiest life. I'm living my happiest life. And everything that I thought of, like I would watch loads of movies, because it took me out of me actually living with my ex-husband and him starting an argument with me, or whatever it was, And so there's ways that you can do it. There's ways that you can use your imagination to the fullest extent. I think it's really interesting. The hardest part. Okay, yeah. Hover over your name. Oh, okay. Did it work? Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Thank you, Bunny. German president. Anyway, be nice or I'm ignoring you. You're not getting attention from me if you're unkind. So if they just have anything just mildly even rude, we don't accept that. We're not accepting it. So is anyone have any other questions? I don't know if I helped you or not. Oh, someone gave me some, what do you call it when they send you money? What is it? What they call it? Is it a thanks or something? I'm not quite sure. Thank you, Kim. You're so lovely. Thank you, darling. I'm gonna remove you. Um, all right, what are you doing for the weekend? Huh? What are you doing for the weekend? Let's have a little chat before I go. Oh, it's called Super Chat. That's what it's called. Yeah, thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Kira. Oh my God, that's not your name, is it? What's wrong with me? I can't read. It's Kim. Oh yeah, I could still. Danielle. What kind of? Um. Oh, the scones, right? So my English friends. Um. Oh, thank you, Kim. What do you think? How do you say it? Because I think it's a southern thing, right? If you say scone or scone, so scone is more south, right? Southern England, and northern is probably scone, right? Scone. And aren't I right about that? Oh, you do? Firewood shelter? That sounds so fun. What else are you doing? The first one, Canadian, Danielle. Are you talking about scone and scone, scone and scone? What you think? Oh, guess where I'm going? Jeffrey, Sean, and I are going tomorrow. Ma'am, you look. Oh, I look amazing. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. Yay, it worked, Raz. It's letting me. Okay, good. Thank you, darling. Thank you. What are my plans? I wish you luck. Oh, good luck, darling. Oh, you're going to do fabulous. Fabulous. I've got to tell you. See, I have a little wrench now. Yeah, that's so cute. I love it. That's so funny. I guess that means it's like tools. That's the tools that you use, Kira. Um, so Jeffrey, Sean, and I are going. Okay, so we live in Brooksville, which is an hour north of Tampa, Florida. And in Tampa, because we used to live in Tampa for years and years, right? Not years and years. Jeffrey Sean lived there for years and years. And they have a place called Cracker Country. It's a historic place, and it's all you know what the Cracker cottages are, right? Florida Cracker houses, and we're going to go to the museum there. And so for tomorrow, because I'm going to get fun ideas for like the summer kitchen for our cottage, which is, pardon me, it's right next door. See, my parents, this is my grandmother's house. Well, it was my grandmother's house, and my father purchased it from my grandmother before she passed, and she had like a living estate, and she stayed here until she passed. And oh, thank you, Kim, thank you. And so the little cracker cottage that I manifested for free, I mean literally for free, Um, it's it's right next door to where my parents live, and so it's obviously it was built 21 years ago. Okay, so it's not an original historic Victorian cracker cottage, but it was designed exactly like one. They used the plans for it and everything. Dear little Mr. Bob did. And so it looks like that. So, but rather than it being pine, which is usually what people use here, you know, pine or oak, um, or cypress, this is a cedar. This one's a cedar one, and but it's still you've seen the pictures, haven't you? Um, that so I wanted to get some beautiful design ideas, obviously just for fun too, because I love doing historic things. You know, I'm real big on you know, I have a certifications in historic preservation, so I'm really excited about that, because I really want to take loads of pictures and all of that, you know, for when we move into the Cracker Cottage. And we're going to probably call it like what we did last time, which is Staffordshire Cottage. And obviously that's one of my legal name, you know, Stafford. And because Jeffrey's family's from Staffordshire and mine's from Sussex, but you know, I really love I really love that area. I think that's, you know, scrumptious. Staffordshire is beautiful place. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. That will be tomorrow. And then Sunday, I don't know, we might go to the seaside or something, you know, just to spend some time, or we might garden, because oh no, that's not what we're doing. I'm finishing the flagstone. Remember, I'm stoning and thatching the cottage, Scarlet Rose Cottage. So my dad said he was going to help me this weekend. So I'll probably do that on the Sunday. So busy week. So, but I'm very excited. So anything else? Oh, thank you, Nick. It's so lovely to meet you too. So are y'all on Instagram? Are you on Instagram? Maybe on the next one I'll do a channel and just do some free channeling. What do you think about that? Do you like that idea? It's lovely to meet you as well. All right, so Kira, we just end it? Why Instagram, not YouTube? What did I just say something? I can't remember exactly what I just said. Need to go back to work. Okay, Danielle, have a lovely weekend, darling. Have a lovely weekend. Um, oh, I was just saying, oh, good. Okay, okay, Kim. Thank you. So yeah, so the next one I'll do a channeling. How about that? If you have any ideas, you know, exactly, you know, if we should do a particular thing or something, that might be good to keep it kind of organized. What do you think? Do you think it would be helpful to do it? Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying, are you on Instagram? Like, I think there's so many more people on the YouTube, right? But most people don't go on the Instagram. People are good, kind of like not happy about Instagram, are they anymore? You said you would do a free channeling, but you spoke about, oh yeah, no, but I just meant, oh, I'm sorry, I confused. No, it would be a YouTube, obviously. YouTube is where my ad revenue comes from, obviously, not Instagram. Pardon me, Instagram doesn't pay squat, doesn't pay diddly. Always on YouTube, yeah. Me too. I like it. I think I like it better than television, don't you? I'll listen to books on the books, people that read the books and all of that. I really would love it if you did Lady Diana. I've never done her. Should I do one on her? Do you have anything that in particular that you think I should talk about or want to channel in? Like what exactly about her? Give me some ideas of like questions that I could ask. Yes, I do share pictures of my garden on Instagram. Kira, give me some ideas on questions for Lady Diana. Or, oh, was she murdered and does she like Megan? Oh, those are good ones. Yeah, add me on the Instagram. That would be lovely. Okay, darlings, I think I'm going to love you and leave you. I don't know if that helped with the manifestation. Did that help at all? What do you think? Okay, so Kira, I'm going to do, that's the next video I'm going to do. Because I haven't done Princess Diana. So was she murdered and does she like Meghan? Those are great questions. Oh, ask her if Meghan and Harry will divorce. Yes, and Kim, I did already channel that before. Yeah, they definitely will. And I do believe this was like over a year ago. And I said that Harry will be the one that divorces her. And he'll go back to England, and Meghan obviously will stay here. But she will kind of like, she won't disappear necessarily, but it's not like she's going to do what Amber Heard did or anything. She won't move, to like foreign country or anything of that nature. No, she'll just kind of like, I hate to say exactly what I know she's going to do because I don't want to be a negative Nancy. Yeah, she'll have her own. Oh, still doing my subliminal. You are? Oh my God, are you really? That is so wonderful, love. How are you feeling? Have you noticed any other things? I've still got that blog post I've got to put up, but I was really wanting to make sure I had that trademarked and everything properly before I put it out for the universe. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's like a negative belief system that I have about, I see so many like psychics and stuff that like, and I guess I shouldn't worry about that, but it's like, I'm a smaller channel, and it's like when you just take my one little ideas, I don't know, maybe we can manifest that people won't do that they'll validate me for my gifts. But I feel as though it's like, I'm going to go and, yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've went to go do a channel, and then it's like, ugh, so-and-so did it, and so-and-so did it, and so-and-so. Now, I know that I channel, and they use tarot, but still, it felt like, pff, I don't watch their video, so I guess that would be all right. But it just feels as though it's like, oh, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Do you know what I mean? I want to be original. I want to be original. And so it kind of irritates me that, yes, you notice it makes your dreams intent, doesn't it? Oh my God, it so does. And sometimes when you're trying to imprint a new belief, you have the complete opposite, and it's like, this is a nightmare. Do you feel that too? Like sometimes it's like, wait, this is completely opposite of what I'm trying to manifest in real life. So it goes against what you're trying to manifest, Kira. Isn't that so funny? Like, and I like sometimes I'll just rip the headband off and the earbuds and stuff, and like the next morning they're strewn across the room, and I'm like, I must have got ticked off or something and threw them off in the night. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, darling. Yeah, totally. That's what happens. You get so irritated. Like there's some days like Jeffrey Sean has been going through this and he's been doing it for months and months now. But he's been going through like this last week of I don't want to listen to him. He's in that mode. He's like, I don't want to listen to them. And I'm like, you get frustrated because you're like, I don't want to. I don't want to. You're irritated. And it's because they're trying to imprint, but it's you've got two different things. It's kind of like your old belief system's trying to stay there and like, no, you know what I mean? Like I'm being dramatic about it, but this is kind of how my mind would feel is definitely like I would just be like, oh, this is so aggravating. Like, am I going to get through this? You know what I mean? And then, yeah, I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just like, I just wake up and I'm just like, I just had this stupid dream about so and so, and because they start to penetrate your brain, and they're like, I remember when I was trying to, when I was working through the jealousy one, and for whatever reason, my cousin, we've not talked in like 25 years or something, and she was always like so awful to me. And I never liked her. Like she was so mean to me. And she was the one when I was trying to manifest like YouTube and doing my channeling and all that. And she kept coming into my dreams and she would do everything that I'm doing. And she would be trying to take my thunder. And I was so angry by the time I woke up. And I was just like, oh, but I knew it was my old subconscious mind trying to push that one out. And she was doing everything that I was doing in the dream. Like she already had the blog numbers, she was getting all these numbers and she was making tons of money and she was a millionaire in my dreams. And I woke up and I told Jeffrey Sean, I'm like, this is so irritating. I'm like, don't know if I can do it tonight. And so then I would just be like, okay, I got to take magnesium. I've got to put some lavender essential oils on. I mean, like I had to, and like chamomile tea so that I could calm myself down to like fall asleep and just be receptive of them because I was just so irritated. I did not, yeah, I understand to take a week off so that you can regulate your nervous system, right? Oh my God, that's so good to hear though. Um, that do you think that would be helpful, Kara, is to actually do like an entire blog post of like all the little incidents that happen, and how to get through them? What do you think, Kara? Do you think I should totally do that? And maybe I could put it on the YouTube too as well, or like even copy and paste it when people ask me for the subliminals, and I could add that little thing because that would probably be really helpful instead of making everyone just like go and find it for yourself. Because there's so many posts that I didn't know like should I put this one or that one, but if I did it all in one place, that would be probably good, wouldn't it? I think that's what I should do. Yeah. Okay, darling. Look, can you tell I'm nervous or something? I don't know why. I've got to go out and water the garden. Water the garden and feed the animals. All the chickens and the cats. I have 11 cats. Did you know that? Yeah, I've got 11 cats. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, all right, my darlings, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I hope that you have a lovely day. And let me know in the comment section if you need any other help, or like what would be really good, or who else that I can channel, because I haven't channeled anyone in like a week, my loves. So, but I was thinking about Kurt Cobain. He's been coming in, and I've been hearing loads. I don't know. There's something about his death that rings to me that he keeps giving me downloads. And this has been happening for like 2 weeks, but I've not wanted to. I don't know him really, and I don't know why he's even coming in, but um, I feel as though he has some message or something. Oh. So I'm thinking about Kurt Cobain. But like I said, I know he used to like tennis shoes, and I know he wrote, didn't he like do grunge music? And I know he was a Pisces. That's the only, no, I do know that he was married to the girl named Courtney or something. And she was in a group, wasn't it called Hole? So I do know that. And didn't he do a song Teen Spirit or something? I don't know. That's all I know about him. And I know that because my husband told me, because he loved his music. But I never listened to his music. Obviously, I never listened to music as I was growing up, you know. Like I said, we were in religion, highly in religion, so I couldn't watch movies, I didn't listen to music, we didn't do dances, you didn't go to the theater or the cinema, you didn't do any of those things. So I learned everything after I got married. He was super cute too. Oh, I should have a look at him again. Courtney wanted the publishing rights to Nirvana, his band. Oh, okay. Should I do, Kira? Should I do him as well? I mean, I've been getting downloads for the last 2 weeks about him, and I don't know why. Yeah, do it. What should I ask about? Because I don't really know anything about him. So what would I even ask? And I don't want to Google it, because then I'll feel like if I know anything about him, then that's going to seem, I don't want to be swayed. Does that make sense? Is there anything else that maybe I should ask about the Kurt? What do you think? Give me some ideas, darlings, for the Nirvana or the Kurt Cobain. Should I see if he was murdered or if he did commit suicide? If he wants us to know about his death. Oh, okay, that's a good way to say it. Okay. Is that it? His death was shady. I will tell you that I've received a download that I don't think he committed suicide. I think he was murdered. Because I can see, you know how I told you that I can see things, and I see, ask him about Courtney. Well, what do I ask about him, about Courtney? Were they married when he passed? I know they had that little girl, didn't they? Have a little child or something? Hello, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you, darling. Random Shorts. Um, was he married to the Courtney girl, or did they divorce, or what? I will ask him about Courtney and ask if people want to know about his death, which I do believe that I feel pretty confident that he did not commit suicide. I will say that. I've gotten that download. What would he do differently? I believe that too. It's so cool that Spirit trusts you. Courtney hired a PI to look for him when he was dead in their house. Yes, they were married. To look for him when he was dead in their house. Huh. Yeah, but I see him in a loft area. It's like almost like the pitch on the roof, almost like an attic, some sort of attic or something. I can see that, and it feels very English like, how like maybe there's ivy growing around or something. I've seen this, and I've seen two people. Obviously, I can't see, I know that it's male, and I could see them busy moving around, like almost like they're in a hurry to do something, that they're doing something. And I don't know what they're doing. It just feels like anxiety ridden to me. And it feels like two masculines. It's two masculines. Obviously, I can't tell what the face looks like. All I see is a black image. That's all I can see. Like I'm literally getting downloads right now. I don't know why, but like I hear potted plant. I also hear almost like I feel like Legos, and I don't know why that's coming in. Almost like a flower that looks like a Lego or something. Like it's almost maybe if it's fake or it's not fake or it's in like a terracotta pot. Why does it feel like plastic, like a plastic plant or something? I heard chrysanthemum, Gerber daisy. Oh my God, are you serious? An A-frame greenhouse? What? Oh, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade. I don't think they committed suicide either. I'd love to know what Lisa Marie Presley thinks about her mother. Oh my God, that one's a good one. Lisa Marie Presley. Should I do that one as well? Oh my God, these are such good ones. I need to write these down. Hold on before you go. Anthony Bourdain. Wasn't he that cook guy? I think my husband liked him or something. Kate Spade. Lisa Marie Presley. Okay, and then we want to ask about her mother, what she thinks about her mother. And then what was the other one? Oh, okay, Kurt Cobain. And I want to know about, what was the Kurt Cobain? What were we going to ask about? Oh, would he do anything differently? And then, what was the other one though? Oh, was he, I think we just answered that. Was he killed or did he, you know what we say, instead of saying unalived himself, we say take a passport. Isn't that a good one? Did he take a passport? Was that, ask him about Courtney? Ask about Courtney? Anything in particular about the Courtney though? Kira? Why did someone think that's shady or something about his wife or something? What does he want us to know? Were they on good terms when he passed? What does he want us to know? wonder if he was on good terms with his wife. Those are good ones. Okay, I'm going to... Courtney was crazy wild. Well, wasn't he too, I thought? I mean, crazy wild, you mean like into drugs? Is that what you mean? I'm going to... Those are good ones. Look, are you guys excited? This is my Christmas book. Look. Isn't that cute? It's British and American. Isn't it so wonderful? Courtney redefined she redefined crazy. Oh my God. So funny. All right, my darlings, I love you very much, and I'm going to love you and leave you. I look like a rich woman in Monte Carlo. Where's Monte Carlo? I'm so silly, I don't even know that. Oh my God. All right, my darlings. Hope you have a lovely weekend, and thank you for sharing the afternoon with me. I really appreciate it. That's so cute. All right, my darlings, you guys have a lovely, lovely weekend. And I'm going to put out, probably I'll put one of the videos out tomorrow or tonight, maybe even. I might record it right quickly. And let's see what comes up. Thanks so much. I love you guys. I love you, darlings. Mermaid darlings. Call you mermaid darlings. All right. I hope you have a lovely day. Toodle pip, darlings. Toodle pip.